Yes, thank you very much. Is retro food like this making a comeback?
This is George, by the way, George McCartney, who's interested.
Who
just making sure his
award.
corned beef is properly presented, which it is. Morning, George, and good morning,
Good morning,
Prue Leith. The question. What was the question again?
Is retro food like corned beef
Oh, this is going so well.
making a comeback? Do you hanker for the dishes of your childhood? Steak and kidney pudding, shepherd's pie, or that?
Yes, a family butcher in Northern Ireland, George McCartney, has just beaten off more than 7,000 rival products to be named Supreme Champion in the Great Taste Awards with his homemade corned beef.
Yes, we'll be talking to him in just a moment. First, though, we wanted to know your memories of meal times. Do you still hanker after things like corned beef? Most of you, seems like you do.
It's just corned beef sandwiches. Going to school, we pack lunches with corned beef sandwiches. Freya Bentos tins that you used to cut your fingers on.
Cut yourself on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
cut yourself on it.
I love it, I love it. And you put it in batter and you fry it, and it's beautiful.
When you got the last bit with the slice, you couldn't slice it off, so you mashed it up and put it in a pot. Some of the old meals should come back like, but yeah, I like my corned beef, yeah. Or you can put it on a jacket potato, stick it on a spud with some beans, warm it up, it's lovely.
Corned beef hash mashed up with mashed potato.
We're from Yorkshire, that's all we ever lived on.
Staple diet, corned beef and beans, can't beat it.
So there you are. It's still very popular. The butcher George McCartney from McCartney's of Moira in County Downs with us, along with chef and food writer Prue Leith. You've got a good morning to you both. You've got a challenge on your hands here, George, because
You have.
Ms. Minchin here is not terribly fond of corned beef. Why should she be?
Well, this corned beef is very, very special. It's made with lean silverside. You have no fat, you have no gristle or fat or anything like that, and it's just absolutely succulent with a natural gelatine, and it's everything about it's all hand produced.
Okay, and why is it called corned beef?
Well, corned is another name for cured, and the meat is cured before it's actually shredded and pressed.
It's gorgeous.
Is it?
It's absolutely.
Shall I go for it?
Just think of it as something else other than corned beef and taste it. While she gets over the experience for a second, Prue.
I thought you'd never ask, and I'm not going to get any.
Here's a fork. Get you on. You have to answer a question first,
right
if you'd be
then.
so kind. Retro food, is it making a comeback?
I think it is. I think we're a bit sick of fancy fiddly food. Certainly I am. I eat far too much fancy fiddly food. But things like corned beef and a really good pork pie and those things, if they're properly made and aren't a sort of canned wodge of fat, which is what corned beef usually is.
I think that's what my problem
brilliant.
was. It was the tinned version of corned beef. That is delicious. And what would you eat it like that, or what kind of recipe would you have with it?
It's very nice with salads or on rye bread, or even made out of corned beef hash. And it's
delicious.
the Good Taste Awards had the dinner, and they had corned beef hash made with the corned beef, and it was absolutely superb. My credit to the chef. He'd done a fantastic job with it.
The other question that lots of people are asking this morning, because people are very fond of it, still very fond of it, saying actually it's really expensive. Do you manage to? Is it expensive in your butchers, for example?
That one has to be more expensive than the old tin version because it is silverside meat,
Yeah.
and it is very, very popular.
But it's so dense, you don't need a lot of it. I mean, you really do not need a lot of corned beef because it's sort of packed protein, isn't it?
It is packed protein, yes. But
So I mean, a bit in corned beef hash, and I think it's wonderful to G up other things because it has such good flavour. I mean, I'm really dribbling because it's, it makes you sad.
We are fond of retro foods, but it's when you think retro foods, you think about steak and kidney pudding. Some people talking about brawn and that sort of thing.
I love brawn.
But they're all the sorts of dishes which make foreigners think British food is really, of the past, is really pretty awful.
No, but that's because they don't have it as it should be made. And also, I do think it's interesting that George is making a corned beef with no fat in it, because originally it would have had more fat because it was
a
cheap.
fatty produce.
And people were, they're out in the fields and walking miles and they needed more calories. But this is a corned beef for today, and it has exactly that same wonderful deep flavour.
Lovely back taste to it.
But it doesn't leave your mouth all greasy and disgusting.
No.
yes, it's not over salty.
No, and it's not over seasoned or over spiced.
Yes.
It's very,
You're getting
very
the flavour
well.
of the meat.
Yes.
Are more and more people buying this, George, as far as
It's
you can
going
see?
very, very well, and you should be able to buy it shortly in Selfridges.
And you
Oh,
beat,
really good.
You beat 7,000.
1,428.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
It is fantastic.
From
So-
around the world. What were some of the more exotic things you had to beat Otto in?
Well, I even saw jam as far as of Australia in the competition. It got a 3-star gold, which was marvellous. There's all types of cured meats and beers even.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
all food.
How you
All
judge
food in
that,
general.
God knows.
Yes,
but
be
it's
very difficult.
but it is wonderful to see a traditional, good old product.
And do they
like
come from miles around? In
They do. When people come in first to the shop and ask for corned beef, I would always say to them, "Have you had it before?" "No, but I've heard about it."
Well, they'll be queuing around the block now, George. Congratulations.
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
much for being
That's
so.
very good.
What do you think now? If
I
just imagine
feel
it's not
bad
just
that he's
taste
here
that.
and you wanted me to be...
Taste that and just
I
think it's not
still
corned
don't
beef.
like
You
it.
still don't like it.
I'm really sorry.
Good. Well, listen, you have that. You have that, Prue. I'll have Lou's
can you
portion.
not
and we'll
like
go from-
it?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm really sorry, George.
Is that
Yeah.
no
I
sense?
have to be honest.
Not to be
I've
worried.
only taken a little bit though.
I think it's delicious enough for 2 people.
Well,
so-
thank goodness the 20-odd judges did.
You see, I
Thank you
am
both very
wrong, I
much.
admit. Anyway, thanks for your texts and emails as well. Just read this one as well. I remember sitting with my cousins as kids and being given pig's chaps. What are those?
Cheeks.
Cheeks.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And pig's trotters.
Yes.
Lots of delicious
Lovely
things we're
stuff.
talking
Thanks
about.
very much
We'll
for
try
all
those
your
next time.
memories this morning. Coming up, the BBC